Good rocket morning. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Flippin' Stoop. Hope all you resellers are waking up, getting fresh, or it doesn't matter if you're waking up now. Actually, whenever your routine starts, I hope you're winning the morning. Whenever your morning is. I don't care if it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon because you work third shift, whatever it might be, right? I hope everybody gets themselves in a fresh state of mind. In this video, I'm going to jump right into, I believe, okay, it's going to sound like it contradicts itself, the disimportance of money while building something. Now, that contradicts itself because you got to have you got to have at least $5 to go into a thrift store and buy something, right? You definitely have to have at least a couple dollars, but you don't have to neither because you could start in your own home. What I'm trying to steer people away from, especially in the beginning, stop looking for a reward. A lot of people, I believe, fail when they get into reselling because they're doing it for the money, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm reselling because I don't want money. Well, it's obvious we all need to make a living in this world, right? When your dozen eggs is costing $5 at the freaking grocery store or the dollar store, you got to make something to live, right? So, but if what my main thing is if your main focus is money, you're going to crash. I'm a firm believer you're going to crash. Instead of shifting that to you are going to start something with one singular item, maybe three. Maybe you got three singular items. Maybe you have 25, I don't know, right? But you're going to start a process with no inventory system. You're not going to understand customer service. You're not going to understand item specifics. You're not going to understand how to title. You're not going to understand how to price an item properly. You're not going to understand how to do the research. You're not going to understand how to package items and get them to the post office. You might not understand a damn thing about it. But throughout the process, you are building. If you can focus on building your eBay business opposed to trying to build a revenue, an income company, I think you do a lot better. It's just my personal belief. Why? Because I did that in the beginning. I did all the focus on nothing but the dollar amounts every time I wake up. But if you can find yourself getting excited throughout the process, say you don't, for example, it took me almost 8 months to figure out a good inventory system for women's clothes. Now, I'm not saying I had to brainstorm and think for 8 months to make an inventory system. What I'm saying is I did little incremental improvements throughout them 8 months to get me to where I am today, right? And now I can find all my items. I basically know where they're at. I got my boxes numbered. I got every one of my packages. I got every one of my packages number with a custom SKU on it. But it took me 8 months to get there, right? To where I do it all in one. I list the item, or after I do the photos, I list the item, I package the item, I put a custom SKU on it, that item's done, right? It took me 8 months to get there. It's the process that is rewarding. It's the process of starting with one item in a 2-room basement, right? Where I work is in the basement. 2-room basement with not one box of inventory into it, to where I can't see nothing but seas of boxes everywhere I look right now. That part is rewarding. You can then see the progress you made, right? I'm a firm believer that if you're going into it just for the money, now, yes, there's got to be some money motive, right? I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I do believe there's got to be some type of money motive behind it. But if 90% of your brain is in the money for it, it's not going to return fast enough for you, because the smartest thing to do the first year is to put every dime back into your business. I understand it. Sometimes that's hard. Sometimes I had to pull from it just to fill up my gas tank so I can make it to the thrift store. I get that. But if you're trying to live off that income right? Your first year, it's going to be rocky for you. It's going to be rough. You're actually making it more difficult than you have to on yourself. This is why I strongly suggest not walking off your 9 to 5 your first year of reselling. It could be until your 10th year of reselling, until your side hustle that you're doing on the side is bringing you in more income than your 9 to 5 consistently. Not just, oh, 1 week, man, I make $800 a week at my 9 to 5. In eBay, maybe $895 this week, so I'm done. Don't do that. Make sure it's consistently doing that for at least, I would say, at least 6 months or so, right? At least, so you know, if you keep doing what you're doing and you add on top of it, you're without a doubt you're going to make more money. Another thing I want to talk about is your 9 to 5, right? Maybe you don't have one. But most people that get into reselling start with a 9 to 5, or maybe you got laid off, or maybe a pandemic like COVID happened and you got laid off and you were looking. A lot of people started reselling throughout the COVID pandemic, right? So what I want you to look at, though, is the structure laid out at a 9 to 5, regardless what you do. It don't matter if you're working in an office. It don't matter if you're working in a warehouse. It don't matter if you're punching in at Walmart. It don't matter if you're flipping burgers. Look at the schedule they lay out for you. If you got an 8-hour day in the state of Michigan, okay, now laws might have changed a little bit, guys. I haven't been in a 9 to 5 in almost 5 years now. So you punch in at 8 o'clock. Somewhere around 10 o'clock, you get a 15-minute break, right? And then maybe somewhere around noon or 1 o'clock, I'm writing this down, somewhere around noon or 1 o'clock, you get a 30-minute lunch. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're lucky and get an hour lunch. And then somewhere around 2 or 3, you're going to get another 15-minute break. And then around 4:30, you're going to punch out and go home, right? Take that schedule. Look, that schedule's been embedded in the work field forever. Now, maybe your state might be a little bit different. The regulations maybe you don't get 15-minute breaks. I don't know. But I know in the state of Michigan, it is a law that every 2 or 2.5, 3 hours, something like that, they got to give you a small break along with the lunch break, right? That works. People get production from that. People know, they've studied it long enough. They know if you do something too long, that is repetitive, your mind starts shifting, you start losing focus, you're not being as productive. For example, if they could work you 18 hours a day, they would. But after your 8-hour shift, the extra 10 hours, you probably wouldn't even get as much production done as you did the first 8 hours. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, the extra 10 hours, you might get half the production done because you're tired, you're drained. The human body is not, we are not designed to work 18 hours straight. We're not created that way, okay? Are there some people that can do it, like Elon Musk? Sure there are. But they'll actually strongly advise you not to do that. I've watched plenty of interviews with Elon Musk, and there's many a times I heard him say nobody should work as much as he does, right? So I figured it out last night. I'm working about between 48 and 52 hours a week on eBay. That sounds long, but I'm working 7 days a week. So if you divide it, I'm really only working between 5 to 7 hours a day, give or take, right? 5 to 7 hours a day, Monday through Sunday. Now, if I want to change that and have the weekends off, well, then I would probably have to pull 10-hour shifts, right? Monday through Friday, which would give me enough items in my draft bank to release them on Saturday and Sunday. And if you guys are predicated on having the weekend off, guys and girls, I strongly advise you to do that, right? You're listing 10 items a day. List an extra 2 items a day and put them extra 2 items in your draft bank. That way on Saturday and Sunday, or you might have to do 4, right? That way on Saturday and Sunday, you can upload another 10 items each day, right? So you're only doing 5 minutes of work on Saturday and Sunday, and you got the rest of the day to do whatever you want to do. But those 9 to 5 jobs, in the way they're laid out, is very thought out. Okay, this took a long period of time before they actually figured this out, right? Now, maybe years ago, 100 years ago, there was no such thing as 15-minute breaks. And I don't know, I doubt it, right? But take that example and incorporate that throughout your day, right? Incorporate that throughout your day. Now, I'm not telling you got to do 8 hours on eBay, but if you're doing 6, give yourself a lunch break. Treat yourself like you care for yourself, okay? Because I'm telling you, if you go 6 straight hours without some type of get yourself away from it for a second. Now, you don't got to go take an hour lunch break or 30-minute lunch break. You set that for yourself. That's the great part of you being a boss. But if if you're used to the 9 to 5 lifestyle, if you can make this kind of like that, right? If you can make your routine kind of like that, I think you'll adapt a lot faster to it. Instead of saying, I'm going to go down in the 2-room basement downstairs from 8 o'clock till midnight. You will fucking put yourself in shambles, and everybody that comes around you will be disappointed. Finally started listing last night before I hopped on the PS5. Going to try for 5 or more every night to bring my store back. I believe in you, Corey. I believe you'll do that. Listen, the great thing, five a night. I don't know what is it you're listing, and how long does it take you to list each item. I don't remember, Corey, if you ever told me actually what you list, or if you list a little bit of everything. 5 items a day, you can do good. I'm not saying you're going to make millions on 5 items a day, but if you list 5 items every day for 365 days, you do the math. You're going to have quite a bit of inventory in your store. And Corey, if you do the 5 items a day, every day for the next 90 days, and you find that to get really simple, throw another few items on top of that. Throw another couple items on top of that. Stretch yourself if you want to, and times it by 2, and start doing 10 items a day. I believe in that process a lot more than the guy or girl that starts out with 5 items a day for a month and then they jump up to 40. You're going to cripple yourself because you're not going to be able to get that much inventory all the time. You're going to start overworking yourself. Yes, I totally understand. There's some people that are more motivated and got the fire up under their ass than other people, but it's not always good to grow that fast. It's not good to. Why do you think eBay gives you X amount of items you can list your first month, right? They're not just saying, okay, here you go, Corey, list 1 million items. They're not doing that because they know it could cripple you. A little bit of everything. Took me about an hour to do 10. Just trying to bring my store back. It died. Well, good. Started out like that, dude. An hour to do 10 items. That's good. If you can do 10 items a fucking hour, dude, you're doing. If you did that for 5 hours a day, right? Which is a very small portion of our day. We think it's a long time, but it is not. That's 50 items a day. That's outrageous. You make great money doing that. You can make great money doing that. But if your store died, you know why it did, Corey, right? I've done it myself. I've let my store go. I've let my store go before and got content with the amount of money that was coming in and started playing on too many toys and all this other stuff. And I'm not telling anybody in here to be an Elon Musk 18-hour-a-day workaholic and have no hobbies. Have hobbies. I have a problem when there's a distraction to get my priorities done before my play. I think I can play all day long, then at the end of the day try to get all my priorities. That is not a good method. And it don't work for me. Corey, I believe in you, right? I want you to win. This is the difference, I think, in my group, is I want to see everybody on YouTube. I want to see everybody on Facebook that attempts this. This is why I go at how to win in so many different angles. Yes, I talk about consistency a lot. I talk about discipline a lot. But truthfully, I go at all different kind of angles like I am today. Like, take your 9 to 5, and obviously that's working for that company, right? Maybe it's not. Maybe you're working for a company that's failing. I don't know. But most warehouses, most Walmarts, all Walmarts, you punch in, they got a system, and they got a system for a reason. Why? Because they figured out a way to get the best production out of people. So do that for yourself. This is your journey. This is something you're building. I started this video out talking about the importance of not thinking about the money in the beginning. If you can think about building your inventory system, you'll do the money will follow. I promise. Get your head out of your ass and stop thinking about the money. Right? I say that because I had my head so far stuck up my ass in the beginning. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make a shit ton of money. Right? I can't wait. And every 5 minutes I'm checking my eBay to see if something sold. Oh my God, that is a miserable way to live. Don't do it like that. So what I did is I started thinking about, okay, I got 400 items in my store. I'm going to build it to 1,000. 1,000 items a day. I don't give a shit if anything's selling, right? Obviously, if you're listing items, they're going to sell. And then after I got to that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit the 5,000. And that took me a little bit, right? and we're just over that now. I'm at 5,300 and some odd items, and we're growing at least 30 to 35 items a day. And when you get that many items in your inventory, which is not a lot compared to where I want to get to, you're going to sell some. So I'm actually only incrementally growing by 5 to 6 items a day, right? Sometimes 10 if we had a bad sales day. Well, excuse me, pardon me. I'm not thinking about what my payout tomorrow is going to look like. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm learning to love the process. Okay, my next goal is 10K on the bay. Like you used to hear Daily Refinement say all the time, get 10,000 items in your inventory, right? Because obviously, I'm going to tell you this right now, the more items you have in your inventory, the more you're going to sell. I'm selling more items now than when I had 1,000 items in my inventory. I'm selling more items now than when I had 3,000 items. I'm selling more items now than when I had 4,000 items in my inventory. And when I have 10,000 items in my inventory, I'll be selling more then than I am now. That's just the way it works, okay? You have more fish in the sea, more people are seeing your items, you're listing more frequently, you're listing more items each day, and your sales will go up. But if you can think about a pyramid of, okay, I'm nobody, I'm nothing right now, right? I got this one item I'm going to list, right? And if you can just zero all your focus, the whole pyramid be nothing but building systems that are going to work. Listen, this is what big companies do. Apple Computer, I just watched, I said it yesterday, I just watched Jobs, the movie. They started in a garage. Matter of fact, it wasn't even in a garage because Steve Jobs went over to his buddy's house and they were going over something or another because they sold something that his buddy made, and then Steve Jobs looking at this thing on the counter or on his coffee table, and he says, "What the hell is this?" And he showed him. He displayed it. It was like one of the first computers, right? So, anyways, they took that idea, they ran with it, they got into Steve Jobs' parents' garage or whatever, and they started it all in a garage. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. They pulled 3 or 4 people off the streets that were buddies of them, put them in there, and they all started a production system. This is the same thing. No, you're not reinventing the Apple computer, but you are building. Your success on eBay is all predicated on, 1, your perspective, and number 2, your systems. Are your systems efficient? If there are systems I'm doing right now that could be better, okay? I'm not sitting up here saying all my fucking chickens are perfect, right? They're not in a row. They're not. There are certain things that could be better. My organization could be better. My listing, I actually could be listing from my computer, which I've heard a lot of people can list faster from the computer. I'm listing an item between 3 to 6 minutes. Maybe I could shave it down to 2 minutes, right? And that does a whole lot. You don't think about that when you're doing one item, but if you're listing 100 items a day, that saves you time, right? So I have incremental improvements as well that need to take place into my system, but it is all your perspective, and your systems will equal your success. Think of yourself of building a system instead of trying to get my next sale. If you can do that, I think you'll get a lot farther on eBay than you will thinking about your next sale. I'm telling you, listen, that old baseball movie, I can't remember what the hell name is it. Nobody's dropped it in the comments below. If you build it, they will come. It's inevitable. It is as long. Now there are some freaking guidelines to that. As long as you are listing actually something somebody wants, or there is a market for. Okay, don't do whatever you want. Don't write some shit on a piece of paper and try to sell the piece of paper that you wrote on, unless it's art or something. That's a different story. You get what I'm the just. Or don't be trying to sell used rubber bands. I don't know. Maybe you could sell used rubber bands by the tons and it would work, right? I don't know. But it is literally a system. And I think where people think they're going to try to be an entrepreneur is they don't like the process. And if you don't like the process, you're never going to get great results. I did not like the process in the beginning. I'm learning to love the process. I'm learning to start with nothing, not even a photo done yet. Within 45 minutes after I take my photos max, right? 45 minutes, I am putting inventory onto a platform that is in return giving me money. Right? That is, if you don't look at it like that, that is all a systematic thing. You are taking something That might not look like this, but we're going to use this as an example. You are tossing it on a board. You're taking 8 to 12 to 50, well, now you can do what, 32 photos if you want. I don't do that with this. Maybe there's certain things you do need to do that with. And within the next hour, this item is going to be listed, because I do my photos. I do all my photos first, and then I list that item, and then I package it. It comes up to a finished product, and when it gets shipped out, it's in a cute little poly bag, and it's off to the post office. That takes courage. That takes patience. That is a system you built, and it is bringing you in revenue. That is something to be proud of. That is something you should be looking at that more. That look, it's the big dogs in the game made it possible for everybody. They showed you and I what is possible if you learn to love the process. Do I love every aspect of fucking eBay? If I told you yes, I would be lying to your guys' face, and there's one thing I'll never do. I'll never lie to you. I'll never give you information that I'm unaware of, and I'll never lie to you. That's stupid. I find, matter of fact, I get really offended when people lie, right? Which is sad, because a lot of people lie, right? I don't want to get too far off. Is there a right time to lie? I don't know. Maybe there is, right? Like, maybe if it could save you and your kid's fucking life, then yeah, lie your ass off, right? If you're being held up or whatever. But the whole point is learning. You might, listen, this is the most of the reason why people don't like the process. My opinion, okay, the same facts, but this is my opinion, is they don't have a good enough system set up yet, right? It's daunting to them. They don't know what to do. Should I do this next? Should I not do this next? And listen, you're not alone. All of us resellers been through that. Should I take the photos first? Should I take just one set of photos and list the items? Should I put the items in the poly bags afterward, or should I put the custom seal on there now? Your system's not designed yet, so there's a bunch of it that's frustrating in you, and you dislike it. That's part of the process, right? You want to make your stressful situations as least stressful as they are, and that is going to take you time. Yes, you're going to get irritable in the beginning. Yes, you're not going to understand this system. Yes, you're not going to have a system in the beginning. But throughout time, the system I have now, I did not have 3 years ago. Okay, I did not have. Period. I wouldn't even I didn't have numbers on boxes. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Okay, and I'm not saying I know what I'm doing now, but I know what I'm doing good enough that the system's working right now. Do I think it needs shifted this year? Fuck yeah, it does. I need to learn a new system. Hire somebody, bring somebody on board, expand, get a bigger get a warehouse or a storage unit. I need to do that, right? Because as I said a few videos ago, I don't want nobody coming in our house and working for us. That I don't like that. That turns your, I believe that makes your home not a home anymore, okay? Because now in the back of my mind, I'm concerned, okay, there's somebody in our basement working. I don't like that. So, is there room for improvement? Yes. Is there going to be room for improvement for you? Yes. Get off the money train. Get off the money train. If you build a good enough system, that will follow. Look at Steve Jobs. Now, I'm not telling you to compare yourself to Steve Jobs, but his system in the beginning sucked, right? The guy wanted computers. He brought him in nothing but motherboards, and the dude's like, what the fuck, man? I want the whole computer. He brought it because he had an investor, and the investor was willing to pay $500 for each item after a negotiation, and he got done, and he filled 50 boxes with motherboards. He brought him in. The dude that owned the computer store looked at him and says, what the fuck is this? I wanted an entire computer with a monitor and everything, right? So they had to start back from square one and build a real computer. Have you made more profit each year? Yes. Yes, Corey. Yes and no. Because if you remember, I built a store for 11 months that failed because of COVID and COVID in the holidays. And that store was doing all right. So when I started over and picked a niche, that first year in my niche, I didn't do as good as I did in that first store. But for that store, yes, I've made progress every year. Yes. And I'm not saying every year this is going to be the third year in this store. I'm not saying every the past 2 years or 3 years, I should say, has been superb improvements, right? The first couple were pretty close. This year's the biggest growth, right? We're at about 49, 50% growth from this year. And I think I could do it again before hiring somebody. I think I could grow another 50%, right? But that's going to be a lot of work on my end. And I think where we're really going to scale is hiring somebody. Yes, our system works. And for right now, it is working. But there's going to come a time, Corey, where it's not going to work no more. I'm not going to be able to do any more items per myself, right? And that system's going to die out, and we're going to have to expand, and we're going to have to hire somebody, right? But I want to get to the point of where I have a system down good enough to where anybody can learn it, right? Because look, if your system ain't repetitive enough and you don't even know your system, how in the fuck are you going to train somebody to be able to do your system? You know what I mean? This is where a lot of small businesses fail in the beginning because they don't even know their system. They're expecting to hire somebody to come in and make a system, right? That's called management. That's management. That's even further than management, right? That's CEO shit. So until I have this to the point where it starts hashing out and I don't think I can push myself any farther, I am going to be doing all the work. Sometimes I believe you need to do all the... I believe, matter of fact, your first couple of years, you should hire nobody. But look, if you want to, that's your choice. You want to experiment and dabble off into that. But your first couple to a few years in the reselling, if you don't have a solid system that is easy to teach somebody, then that's what you should be focusing on before you ever hire somebody. It's your boy Flip and Stoop, guys. I actually have to go pick up some inventory. Yeah, I'm really worried about having someone list my items because I know I do it right. Got a return for INAD last time I let. Okay, well, here's the thing. When I let the old lady list, right. Well, here's the thing about, that's the hardest part, I believe. Allowing somebody to take the reins. All right, because I already know how anal I am with my packaging. I know how, with my poly bags. When it comes down to my poly bags, I want all the air out of the bags. I want them sealed tight. I want them to look good, right? I don't want them all messed up, big ball, and looking like shit like they did in the beginning, right? It's little things like that I'm anal about. So, even my photography, I'm not super anal about, but it's got to be a certain way. The item descriptions, you got to think about, you got to train somebody to know all this, right? I think hiring somebody as a lister is very difficult because you got to train them what item specific. Look, if you're just hiring anybody that's never resold a day before in their life and you're bringing them in and they got to learn all the materials, like for example, we sell clothes. They got to learn all the materials. They got to learn dimensions, where to make the measurements, how to make a description, where to point out the flaws if there are any flaws, how to do the photography, how to do the title. You're like teaching them freaking 10 jobs. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why a lot of people will hire a photographer and then separately hire a lister so they're not doing it all because it's too much. It's too much. It took me, I'm going into my 5th year. It's took me this one just to be able to fly through my listings, right? Now I've been doing it for a while, but I'm still getting faster. I'm still getting a little faster. Every once in a blue moon, I'll notice I say, holy shit, I did that listing in 2 minutes, right? So I'm still getting, like, that's not consistent. That's not every listing's 2 minutes, but there are times where I can't do that, right? There is a lot in the description of clothing. Yeah, there's a lot in the description of everything. Imagine teaching somebody. Now, if you're just a scan bar person and go, oh, that'd be simple to hire somebody, right? Not simple. You would still have to give them the reins and all that, or her. But when it comes to clothes, there's a lot that needs to be learned. Okay, there's a lot need to be learned. And at the moment right now, I just told everybody in the group that I'm working on my patience, right? I'm working on patience and optimism, right? I've been working on that for years, but I'm really focusing on that right now because without patience, you're never going to hire anybody that's going to stick around for you. For example, I did it with my uncle. I worked for my uncle. Love him to death. Great man. Not a great man to work for. The fucker will throw you off a roof if you lay a shingle wrong. And I'm not bullshitting. I got threw off a roof. Like, literally. Okay, so you can't learn from somebody that has no patience. It doesn't work. Nobody wants to learn from somebody that has no patience. And this is hence the reason why when me and my fiance were listening together, I know she's even told me that I can't work around you, man. You were not patient enough with me, because I'm one of them ones when I'm in my zone, don't interrupt me. Okay, and we were both listing next to each other, which I think was a bad idea too, because I'm trying to stay focused on my listing, and she's over here asking me questions about descriptions as I'm listing. Now, it would have been different if I would have took 30 minutes and went through it with her. I see it differently now. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to list when you do, but I'll be down here to assist you when you need the help. That would have changed things. But I was actually trying to get my store built up at the same time she was trying to build her store up. And we clashed. It didn't work. Do you recommend a mannequin for clothes? I actually have a mannequin in the back. I'll tell you this right now. I do believe people get higher dollar value from their items when they're on a mannequin. Tech and Sports does a flat lay. Daily Refinement did a flat lay. I do a flat lay. If I had to put everything on a mannequin, it would take me probably twice the amount of work to list my items. Probably would. It obviously is going to take you longer. It's definitely going to take you longer. And I always had to move the mannequin around after every photo. Right? If you're going to take the frontal of this shirt on a mannequin, you're going to take the picture, right? Well, now you got to set your camera down. You got to go over to the mannequin. You got to turn the mannequin around and make sure the lighting's right. Then you got to come back and grab your phone or your camera, whatever you're using, and take another photo. And then you got to turn it a little bit. You get what I'm saying? You got to drop the camera, pick it up, drop the camera, pick it up. When I'm doing photos, I don't drop the camera once. It's in my hand when I'm flipping shit around. You see what I'm saying? So people do get a better, like, if you put this shirt on a mannequin where a man can see what it would look like wearing it, or a woman, whatever, you're more apt, I believe, to get a better price value. You'll get a few dollars more for the shirt being on a mannequin, because somebody can actually see what it would they can imagine what it would look like on them, right? So yeah, a mannequin's a good idea. I have one. If you were closer, I'd give it to you, dude, if you wanted to start trying to sell clothes, because I paid $70 some for it 3 years ago, and it's been sitting in a closet. After I started listing clothes, I probably still got maybe 2 items in my inventory. That's a dress sitting on a mannequin, and my lighting sucked then. I didn't have the best lighting. There was dark areas. It was difficult for me, so I just decided to do the flat lay and go with that. It makes it simpler for me, but the customer does prefer to see it on a mannequin. So I got to wrap this up, guys. I got to go pick up some inventory. Matter of fact, right now I bought the bulk of vintage women clothing. I just seen a few items. She wanted a very good price. So I said, I didn't even see the rest, but I don't care. We know her personally. So, but she has got a bunch of vintage clothing, and we got to go pick that up. So I hope this video helped somebody out. Anytime, brother. You have a great day too. The truth is about it though, is you hear me all the time talking about perspective drives your performance, right? If all you're thinking about money, listen, man, I'm telling you like this. If all you're thinking about is the money, it's not going to come in fast enough at big enough chunks to keep you motivated. That's just the truth. I'm not going to be one of these channels on YouTube be like, in 90 days you can make 100 G's a year. Man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, dude. Like, look, all those people are trying to do is get your views, get your subscriptions, so they can make an extra $30,000 a year on fucking YouTube, or $60,000 a year, or whatever. That's all they're doing. I'm trying to tell you the root of what has worked for me. Now, look, this might not work for you. Okay, look, maybe money is your driver. There's plenty of successful people out there that money's their driver. But look, if that's all that's driving you, it's scary, because he ain't never going to come fast enough, man. Not what you're looking for. Like, I don't know anybody that got into reselling full time, at least, that's like, yeah, I just want to make $10,000 a year. How in the fuck? You can't live on $10,000 a year. It's very difficult to live on $10,000 a year anywhere when a dozen eggs is $5. That's fucking bad shit, crazy. Eggs went up 49% within the past 12 months. That's fucking nuts, man. You know, we're bitching about gas. being, $4, $5, $6, depending on what state you're in. A fucking dozen eggs, man. Yeah, I'll tell you something about a dozen eggs. It's fucking a meal and a half for me. I'll 2 meals. I'll eat 6 eggs in one sitting. Not a fucking problem. Right? So that's 2 meals for me. $5. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it's better than going to McDonald's, but you get the gist, right? It went up 49%. So try, if you can. Look, money's everybody's motivator to a degree. You're hoping, okay, if I put in this much energy, eventually you're going to get a return, right? But if you weren't, then why would you ever do it, right? If I was like, hey, Corey, hey, come work for me, bro. Come list items for me for a year, and I'm never going to pay you. You're going to be like, dude, fuck you, dude. Like, you're cool. I like you, bro, but fuck you, man. I am not coming to spend a year of my life to help build your business up, and you're not going to give me shit. Right? Same thing goes for you. If you're working for a year, you expect something out of it, right? But the problem is people expect something out of it too soon. That's where I think the problem stems from, is people want to put 90 days in and get fucking 5 years of results out of 90 days. You're not going to squeeze that fucking lemon like that, man, and get that much juice out of it. You're just not going to do it, okay? You can't do it like that. You have to keep adding on and adding on and adding on and adding on, and whatever you dislike about the process, learn to like about the process. I'm not saying I love every aspect of reselling. Matter of fact, the thing I hated the most was listing. Why? Because I sucked at it. So I zeroed in and I focused on what I sucked at until I got good enough to be efficient at it. I'm not a pro. I'm not knocking items out in fucking under a minute like some people are. I'm not doing that. But the 3 to 6 minute range for me is fast enough for me to get the amount of items done I need to get done today. It's your boy Flippin' Stoop. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please go check out the YouTube channel if you haven't already. It's under Flippin' Stoop. And if you are watching the YouTube channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'm never going to be a Patreon group and charge anybody from what I'm learning. It's stupid. I'll make my own somewhere else, right? I just want to give stuff away. Like, I'm going to give you an example. If I won the Mega Millions, I would be that guy to go start a foundation, right? I'd be that guy to give the majority of my family would be straight, of course, right? My family would be straight, but I'd be starting foundations for animals and shit because I love animals and people, right? There would be no homeless. That's the type of shit I like to give shit away. Right? This is why I believe in my lifetime, whether it's through reselling one stream of income in 10 other businesses, I believe that money's going to come to me because deep down inside my soul, I want to do good with it. Right? And I want to do good with what I learn here. I'll never charge anybody in my YouTube group ever 99 cents a month. That's fucking ridiculous. To tell you the truth, the people that do that, they're making a lot more than you think. Because think about if you had 5,000 subscribers. And you're charging people 99 cents. That's $5,000 a month, man. You're making. That's a good chunk of change. That's about 60 grand a year, right? So, and I'm not knocking anybody that does that. Look, if you feel your information is that valuable and you believe your time's worth that much money, well, then do your thing. I'm not knocking anybody that's got a Patreon group, but you're never going to get that out of me. I'm not going to be that guy, man. All right, it's your boy Flippin' Stoop. Have a rocking day.